All right, we're recording now. All right, cool. So any questions then on how we're working with the classes? Everybody clear on that? I don't have to be, there's no mandatory class meetings. And with that said though, I'm always more than willing to meet with you. So let's say, you know, you're working on an outline and you're kind of struggling with the concepts, the Canvas is just making this thing more confused. Cool. Send me an email, say you want to have a meeting, cool. I'll set up a Zoom meeting, send you an invite, and then we can meet face to face. So I am not opposed to face meetings. I'll do whatever it takes, whatever you guys need me to do to help you be successful this semester. And when it comes to public speaking, one thing I really want to impress upon all of you, it's not a talent that some people have and some people don't have. It's a skill that anyone can learn, and really that skill comes down to two things. One, confidence. If you start believing that, hey, this public speaking isn't so bad, I kind of like it, it's kind of empowering, and you start to develop confidence in your ability to speak in public, that's half the battle right there. And then second, it just comes down to practice. The more you practice a presentation, the better that presentation is going to be overall. That's another cool aspect about doing the classes online, because when you submit your speech, you could record it. I didn't quite like that one. And you can keep recording it until you get that speech exactly the way that you want it. So any questions then on the overall class schedule? We're all good with that? Cool. I can't see most of you, so if you verbally say yes, that kind of helps me out. All right, so the next thing that I want to go over would be navigating Canvas. And so essentially, this week you should have started on the home page, go to the syllabus, and then for this week, you want to complete modules, or the Start Here module, and then the week 1 module. And I know for some of you that week 1 module just basically has all the stuff to train you on how to take the class online. Probably some of you have gone through that before, but that was actually a requirement by the college. They actually put that whole section in our Canvas shells for us. They just want to make sure that students have all the information that they need. All right, let me get some more folks in here. All right, cool. And if you're just tuning in, we're just kind of going through an overview of classes. I went over the schedule as far as no mandatory synchronous meetings for this class, although we will have the Wednesday 1 o'clock each week. And for those of you in that Monday, Wednesday 11 o'clock class, and for those of you in the Tuesday, Thursday 12:30 class, if you want to meet during your class times, I can easily set up a Zoom meeting for both those classes. If that's something that you'd like to have, just break me off an email, send me that email. And then also too, make sure whenever you send me an email, always identify which class that you're in, so that way I can give you the specific instructions. I also teach a sports broadcasting class, and I teach a group communication class. So if you just send me an email, hey, where do I go to get the Canvas information? I can't really help you unless I know what specific class that you're in. All right. Any questions then on navigating through Canvas? Anybody have any trouble at all getting on Canvas? Everybody good? Cool. And so really what you're doing this week, you start with the Start Here module, go through that information, and then no later than tomorrow night by midnight, you want to submit that first video. Now, that first video is real important, because essentially what you're doing when you state your 3 goals, you're essentially establishing the grading criteria that I'm going to follow. My system of dealing with grades is quite a bit different than most instructors. I hate grades. I hate letter grades. And one of the reasons why is usually with me, I'll get a student where about 3/4 into the semester, they've been doing a great job. Well, they look at their grade, it's like, cool, I can get a D on my last speech and I'm still going to get an A in the class. And so what happens? Then students might take their foot off the gas pedal, and so they're not really maximizing their full potential in the class. The way that I want you to view this class is more like a job. And so essentially at the end of the semester, I'm going to sit down with each of you individually, and the basis of determining your grade will be how effectively did you accomplish the 3 goals that you established in that opening introduction video. So that also means that you need to make sure that those goals are specific. So for example, if you give a goal like, okay, well, one goal, I want to get good grades. All right, what will you do specifically to get good grades? So make sure your goal is specific. So really the goal for that might be, I'm really going to work on not procrastinating on my assignments, and I'm going to make sure that I have every speech prepared 1 week in advance of the due date. All right, now we can measure more easily whether or not you met that particular goal. So always remember, when you establish goals, you want to make sure that it's measurable, so I know when I accomplished that specific goal. So does that make sense? So in all your assignments, it's going to be a complete or incomplete, obviously, except for the quizzes. There will be point totals for the quizzes there. But I would think you want to do as best as you can on the quizzes. So when you're making your case for why I should give you an A at the end of the semester, well, you can tell me, look, I got a perfect score on all of my quizzes, or I only missed 5 points on all the quizzes combined. And so really think of this class like a job, and to get an A, that means that I would hire you at the end of the semester for some kind of public speaking or some kind of communicative affair or activity. And so that's what we're after. So what you're doing as the student is, think of the class more like a seminar. I'm trying to get everything I can from the seminar so I can be the best possible speaker I can be. Does that make sense to everybody? So I really think it's better for you as the students. You have way more control over your grade. And the single biggest thing that I look at is your effort, right? If you tell me that you gave your best effort on a speech, but you're reading it straight off of note cards, that behavior doesn't match with, I gave my best effort on the speech. If you gave your best effort on the speech, you probably would spend a little bit more time practicing, so that delivery, you're looking more into the lens of the camera rather than reading off of the note cards. And then also too, when it comes to your introduction video, as far as the style that you use for your presentation, there's really 2 ways to do it. You can use what I call the podcast style. That's where you're sitting down kind of like I am right now, and I'm speaking right into the camera. Cool. Great way to deliver a speech online. Or it may be that you want to stand, and so there you would just take the screen, you'd move your laptop, your recording device back just a little bit, and now I can stand up and I kind of have this half body speech. Either of those are acceptable in terms of presenting your information. One of the most important things, though, you really got to make sure, and it's tricky when you're doing your speeches online, that camera lens, that's the audience. And if we were doing this in class, you would learn that eye contact is one of the most important aspects when it comes to public speaking. And it's just like a conversation, right? If you're having a conversation with someone, who are you looking at? You're looking right at the individual, right? You're not out with that special someone, and then it's like, oh, I break out the note card. I really want you to know how I feel about you. You become no, right? That's not going to work. It's all about the eye contact. So when you're delivering a speech, you're looking right into the camera lens on your phone, on your laptop, on your tablet, whatever recording device that you're using. So you're creating the appearance of having a conversation with the audience. You're looking right at the audience as you deliver the speech. And then the other thing with these first presentations, just try to be relaxed and be yourself. One of the keys to public speaking is, and in fact, one of the students already turned in their introductory video and talked about one of the goals that he had for the semester. When I give a speech, I want it to look like I'm just having a conversation with the audience. And I looked at the name of the student. I thought, have you had my class before? Because that's the same thing that I teach. So when you're giving a speech, it's a very polished presentation, but I want it to sound as if I'm talking to friends. So bring your personalities, be conversational, be yourself when you're giving a presentation. That's going to make you stand out more than anything else from all of the other speakers. And I think that's one of the key aspects about public speaking. We are all different. We are all unique. We are all important. We are all valuable. We all have a voice, and we all have something to say. So with that first opening speech, really think about how you're going to deliver the speech as far as your style. I can either go with stand up in front of the camera, or I can do the sit down podcast style. And be mindful of the background. Now, I get to, you're at home, and it might be, gosh, I've got 5 other siblings, so the only place I can do this recording is standing in the bathtub. It's the only place I can get some peace and quiet. And I get that. But also, always think about the background. You want to try to make it look as nice as possible. We want to get away from distractions. And then always think about where you're at as far as centering yourself in the video. I tell you, if you just watch that speech by Michelle Obama that I put on the announcements, that just really gives you a good frame of reference as far as posture, making sure that your head's in the center of the frame. I get some students, and I got like 10 feet of headroom, and I can barely see their eyes. So think about what the video looks. And just remember, you're presenting yourself, right? It's the same thing as doing a selfie. When you do your selfies, you always seem to get yourself centered. So let's make sure we do it for our online presentations as well. So we've talked about grades. We've talked about classes. We've talked about how to navigate through Canvas. And we've talked about this first introductory speech. And then the last thing, and I've noticed this already, when you're making your comments to students, really try to be as positive as possible. And I have always found that you as students and peers, you guys really, you'll be an important part of the class just as far as uplifting everyone else and really helping us to become more confident in our ability to speak in public. Sometimes I'm a little dishonest when it comes to public speaking. And so I know if I start telling you you're a really good speaker, and it may be that you're not yet, but I see the potential. If I can get you to start thinking, I'm a pretty good speaker, I kind of like this, then it's all downhill from there. You believe in your natural ability to speak in public, you will be an effective speaker. All right, you guys have any questions for me?
No.
Oh, you guys
Sorry,
are
go
on
ahead.
behavior. We're just starting out. Hey, also too, on your Canvas pages, when you go on Canvas, you just have your class, right?
Mm-hmm.
So good. Yeah, the only reason I'm asking is for me, because they're all together. When I'm grading all of the speeches, I'm going to have over 100 speeches to actually look at. I just wanted to make sure for that first assignment, because I want you to respond to each of your classmates' speech, that on your end of Canvas, the classes were divided. I certainly wouldn't expect you to have to respond to 100 different speeches in a couple days. So you only have to respond to each of the speeches on the introductory speech. And this is the only time we're going to do that. And if you guys help me out with your responses and you're really positive, we can really get everybody off to a good, confident start with that first presentation. All right?
I had a question.
Yes.
So basically,
Finally.
yeah,
And
you
who is
mentioned
it?
it, Devontae.
Oh, Devontae, yes. Good job on your speech.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I was wondering, you mentioned in the beginning, kind of in the beginning of the video, that you wanted us to have specific goals. So
Yes.
should we change our goal? Because one of my goals was to boost my GPA. I didn't necessarily say what grades I wanted. So do I change that, make a mental note?
And so you would want to make that just a little bit more specific. Like what's one thing you can do specifically to do that? And I think it might have been you. Did you mention about procrastination?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay, that was another, but that would be an example.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't want to
I
out
definitely
people.
stopped.
But what you want to do there is, okay, if I want to improve or make sure I get an A in this class, then I will do that by always being well prepared for each of my speeches. Because if
Okay.
you're well prepared for each of your speeches, that's a specific way to drive your grade up. Does that make sense?
Yes, gotcha.
Cool. And so the thing with goals, we want to make sure that they're measurable, right? So when we get to accomplishing that goal, we know that we're actually there.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
another goal could be, I want to get to the point where when I deliver a presentation in front of people, I can control my nervous anxiety better. Cool.
Okay.
That's a good goal, right?
Yeah.
Along with that, though, I can tell you this when it comes to public speaking. For most of us, you never get to the point where you completely get over that nervous anxiety. I've been doing this for almost 50 years. And if I have a presentation, I still get nervous. I get really nervous. I've noticed the older that I get, or one of the things that bothers me when I get nervous, my mouth gets really dry. So maybe I'm giving a speech here at the campus for the, Sports Hall of Fame or something like that. I'm the master of ceremonies. I get 2 sentences in, and then my mouth gets a little bit dry, right? And so for all of you, I don't want you to think there's a magic pill or something you can do so you're never nervous when you speak in public. What we do in this class is we learn how to manage the nervous anxiety so it doesn't disrupt the overall presentation. And so I always tell students, you may not ever get to the point where you're not nervous when you speak in public, but you want to be the only one who knows, right? And one of the
Yeah.
coolest things about teaching public speaking, especially when we're in the classroom, you see a student that had really struggled through the semester, but they get up there for their final presentation and they get through that presentation and they come back and I say, hey, nice job. And they go, oh, I was so nervous up there. But then if I say, we couldn't tell, that's exactly what you want when it comes to dealing with nervous anxiety. And
Gotcha.
the more you practice, the better you'll be able to deal with that nervous anxiety. I always like to teach speech and tell students, if you play a sport, if you're an athlete, it's no different, right? You practice so that you can perform on the field, right? Same thing with public speaking. We practice so we can perform behind the podium. Same deal, no secret to success. You put in the work, you start believing in your natural ability, and all of you can speak as well as Michelle Obama did the other night. I would hate to be Barack Obama. He's up either, I think, tonight or tomorrow night. It's like, I don't even know if I'm the best speaker in my house. He'll probably do even better because it's like, okay, she set the bar right there. I better have my game face on. Might be one of his better presentations. Also, too, a great way to really learn about public speaking is to evaluate speeches. And so if you're interested in extra credit, and not that I'm going to give you points for it, but you turn in extra credit, what does that say about your effort? Hold on, guys. I'm going to admit 2 more folks just showed up. All right, cool. What was the point I was making? That's why I hate Zoom.
Extra credit.
Yeah, you
Extra credit, right? So if you do extra credit, what does that say about your effort? You're really putting in a maximum effort. We're having that grade consultation, and you go, hey, Pop, yo, what about the 5 evaluations I did on different speakers? Doesn't that count for anything? Yeah, that counts for a lot. And so, good opportunity for extra credit. And it's kind of cool the way that they're doing the Democratic convention. They'll be doing it next week with the Republican convention as well. But with everything online, now all of a sudden, we have lots of examples that we can use as instructors and that you can use as students as far as, there's an example of how to give a speech on Zoom. There's an example of how to give a speech on YouTube, online. And so we're getting all kinds of great examples. You want to do well in the class? Pick one of those speakers, write a 1 to 2 page evaluation. And in those evaluations, you always want to focus on 3 things. Anytime you're evaluating a speech, you're looking at 3 things. The structure of the speech. Was it organized? Was there a beginning, middle, end? Were the kind of main sections that connected as we went through the presentation? Those are all structural comments. Second, what about the content? That's the stuff of the speech. the information, right? Did you like the information that was shared? Did it relate to you? Did you learn something? Were you entertained? And then third, you want to evaluate the delivery. That's the overall presentation style. And when it comes to delivery, you're looking at things like eye contact. Were they looking directly into the camera so it looked like they were looking directly at me? Controlling movement. Sometimes you get speakers like this. It's like, wait, slow the chair down. Or side to side movement. You want to control the movement. Gestures are good, but you don't want to be fidgety. So those are all presentation comments that you can make. So anytime you're evaluating a speech, 3 things to evaluate: structure, content, and delivery. And it's going to be that way with you guys as well. When you do a speech, those are the 3 major things that we're looking at anytime we're trying to tell a good speech from a bad speech. All right, so opportunities for extra credit there. Any other questions?
Mm-mm.
Come on, if you have a question, probably everybody else has the same question.
I don't have any questions.
Cool. You guys all good?
Yes, thank
All
you.
right. And it may be they have a question. I just don't feel like speaking up right now. Cool. Break me off an email. If you're going to contact me, you have my email address, gpof@solano.edu. And I'm always checking my emails. I always have that up. And even if you send an email through Canvas, that's cool. That will get routed and go straight to my college email. All right? Let's have a great semester. I'm here to help you guys. What I want for you is to be the best possible speaker that you can be. And if you look at our world around us, probably a pretty good time to be able to stand up and give a presentation and be able to fight for what you believe in. We have no idea what's around the corner for us, but I can tell you this: the greater your voice, the more power you're going to have in determining our outcomes. All right? All right. Be well, you guys. Next Wednesday, same thing for you guys in that Tuesday, Thursday, 12:30 class, Monday, Wednesday, 11 o'clock class. If you want to have a meeting also during those class times, hit me up. Let me know. All right. We'll see you guys
Thank
later.
you.
Best
Have a good
effort
day.
on this first speech.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Thank you.
Thank you.